G'day you beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about attack speed in Paragon. If you're going to find this video helpful in any way, shape or form, please smash the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Or if you have any questions whatsoever, and subscribe if you are not already, guys. But with that said, let's get started by perhaps talking about who you should be slotting attack speed on. Now the easiest group of people to know who should definitely be getting attack speed, minus this guy, because obviously you do not want to run attack speed on Revenant. It's kind of a wasted stat as it just reduces his reload and you don't really get much out of it. But any of the other Marauders, okay? Marauders are technically going to be building high amounts of damage, and attack speed is really going to be helping them. For the most part, how much attack speed you run on them is relative to how you want to play. So someone like Grim and Murdoch, definitely just the amount that you want. There's no point in having a really high attack speed if you're not able to land shots. Within reason, when I say really high attack speed, we'll get onto that in a little bit. The other exceptions, Twin Blast, you could generally say that he wants less attack speed because he does have his triple shot. Sereth probably wants a little bit more, but people like Wukong, Sparrow and Yin probably want the most out of anyone because it just works towards their kit so much. Wukong, a lot of attack speed will allow his clones and himself to attack quicker. You can siege stupidly fast. Yin, considering she has 100% cleave and is just devastating, higher attack speed is really going to help her out, like 200% we're talking here. And you could argue the same for Sparrow, having 200% because of her passive. Now other heroes in the game that do well with attack speed, apart from probably Chimera, are the wild characters. Now obviously Crunch, Kwong, Greystone, Rampage, Fengmao, Grux all do well with attack speed, but it is worth noting that these players are also better off, maybe with the exception of Feng, building quite a bit towards tank as well. So when it comes to attack speed, you're probably only going to have, you know, 1 or 2 9-point damage cards with a little bit of attack speed on them. So there's not really much point focusing on these characters because they don't use too much. Apart from that, you know, his supports attack speed is useless. Morigesh, no point running attack speed on Morigesh. Maybe Shimby, but I still wouldn't run any attack speed on Shimby. Pretty much no casters whatsoever. She's a caster, no attack speed. Crunch is definitely a exception to the rule because he's a fighter as well as being a melee caster. The Fae, Narbash, Richter, Howitzer, Higgy Scorch, Deca, Gadget. Kalari is potentially someone that you would want a bit of attack speed on. She does get quite a bit per level though as well, so there might not be any point. Steel maybe might fit onto that list if you're going for a bit more damage. Muriel definitely not. Okay, so predominantly it is going to be your Marauders that are going to be running attack speed, and potentially a little bit on some of these heroes here, and I don't think, yeah, pretty much just those heroes there. I wouldn't really run attack speed on Severog, maybe some on Steel and Kalari, but that's about it. Okay, so we've covered who should run attack speed. So now we should probably figure out what the max attack speed is and how to get there. But before I do, I would just like to state that there is no instance, no character, no situation in the game where you would really want to be at max attack speed, because it's not going to be the optimal build that you could be running. When it comes to the, we'll come back over here for a second, when it comes back to the individual heroes, it is relevant to who the hero is and what their base attack speed is. So someone like Wukong, I think he has like 1.37 basic attack speed. That means he attacks once every 1.37 seconds, whereas Sparrow attacks every 1.2 seconds. So to actually get to the max attack speed, Wukong would need more attack speed than what Sparrow would. Okay, so if we come over here and just chill in the deck builder for a while, we'll start up a new deck for Sparrow. So what I'll do is I'll pop up on the screen now. This is the general formula that you should use, the easiest formula you should use to work out what your actual attack speed is. So the BAS, the base attack speed, is going to be, if we take her down to level 1, because that is her base level, this is your base attack speed, 1.2 seconds. The attack speed modifier is whatever this adds up to. So when you're in the game and you look at your stats and it tells you the percentage of attack speed you have on your build, that is the modifier, okay? So let's get out of there. So just to show you how absolutely ludicrous it would be to get to max attack speed, we would need to have a whirling wand with 3 major kinetics, another one with a major kinetic, probably another one with 3 kinetics, and then perhaps maybe just all damage here. I think should be pretty close. So let's have a look and see what this does. We add all these cards on. You can see we're up over 200% already. So now we're at 187.7. So there we're at 190, 204.2. So that is around about 300%. Okay, 300% will take her to about 0.4 attacks per second. So the max attack speed is 0.4 attack speed. Okay, that means that you attack once every 0.4 seconds or 2.5 times per second. Considering the fact that Sparrow starts with a quicker attack speed, if we were to back out of here and actually make it for someone like Wukong, which will take me a moment, you'll see that it actually takes a lot more to actually get to his max attack speed. But like I have said, you don't really want max attack speed, because max attack speed will never ever add up to the most optimal build that you can make. So we'll just put everything on the same. We might as well just add that card, and that was pretty much what we did. We took that one extra wing cover blade off at the end, so this should put us to an extra 159%. I don't know why I clicked on that. As you see, he doesn't get as much per level, so that takes him to 285.6. So we actually do need some more attack speed, which we'll just chuck on this and then see what that sits at. So that is 302.6. So this is probably going to be about as close as we can get to what Sparrow was running, and as you can see, it's actually at 0.45. The reason for this is that if we take all these cards off and we go and check what his base attack speed is, it's 1.35 seconds. It's a lot slower than what Sparrow's attack speed is, so therefore he is more hungry for attack speed to get to the same attack speed as Sparrow. Like I said though, you do not want to get to max attack speed. Pretty much when it comes to attack speed, working out how much you're going to want, like I said, with someone like Sparrow or Yin or Wukong, 200% is pretty nice. So that would be, where would that be? If I actually look at it and put it back up, that is actually too much. So around about there. So that would be, actually let's get rid of that and add this one on. Yeah, so around about 2 whirling wands with 9 CP spent into attack speed, so that would be around about 15 CP worth of attack speed is pretty nice for Wukong. You could go a bit more, but probably wouldn't go that far. Now, we're not going to go over every single hero. My aim is just to help you to understand what max attack speed is, why it's not exactly viable, because obviously the more attack speed you have on, the less damage you have on, which does not make for a perfect build, especially if you're running crit. The easiest way to look at it is if you were to look at someone like, say, Murdoch. If we look at the build that I actually use as his max build, which is probably a bit wonky for some people, you're probably wondering why the hell I run this, but it works, so STFU. As you see, I really only have one attack speed card on this. This is one that I built for when I'm running with phase. If I was to try and hit max attack speed, looking at about 116, so he's actually got less attack speed than Wukong, so he would probably need about 20 CP. So you would need to change this to a Whirling Wand. You would need to add 369, that would be 12. You would also need to get rid of the Brand of the Iron Eater and flesh that out with attack speed as well. So that would be, you would pretty much lose almost all that in damage, which means that your attacks would be hitting for way less. You would have the attack speed up, but it kind of gets to the point where you're getting diminishing returns from your attack speed, so I do not recommend it. Now, when it comes to optimizing attack speed, I can't really tell you how to do that for every hero, because I would be here all freaking day. And like I said, with people like Murdoch and Grim, it's completely relative to you. If you feel like adding a little bit more attack speed than what most people run allows you to hit every shot still while firing ludicrously fast, that is fine, that is up to you. If you struggle to land shots and you feel like you should reduce your attack speed a bit, that is fine, as long as you're landing your shots. That is the most important thing. That is why the melees like Wukong, Sereth, and Yin as a pseudo melee ranged, the higher attack speed is better because you're less likely to miss shots because you're up in someone's face and it's a lot easier to actually hit those shots. So that's why the higher attack speed actually works. But I probably wouldn't, I wouldn't go over 200%, really. Around about the 200% mark for those three. And for everyone else, I probably, on a damage build, I probably wouldn't go over about maybe 170% attack speed. That should be fine. Just keep in mind around about 15 attack speed on Wukong, Yin, and Sparrow is going to be pretty decent mark, and probably about 12 max for the other guys. Should be a good shout. So as far as those fighters go that we talked about before, like Grux and stuff like that, if you were just running 2 damage cards at the end game, I probably wouldn't go any further than like 2 Whirling Wands with a kinetic on either one, so that would be 55 attack speed added onto your build maximum, because you do want that tank, and that's probably the best way that it's going to work out as far as getting your actual attack speed up. I think running sort of a cheap Whirling Wand, a cheap wing cover, 2 cheap wing cover blades, and then another wing cover blade with all damage. If you were to run this first, this, and then this, that is a really good way to get excellent amounts of damage, because you're going to start off, as you see, your DPS is going to be about 111, and then it's going to shoot up to about 150, and then to 190, and then this is actually going to help it quite a lot. So it's going to go up 50 just from that, and it's only gone up 40 from the Whirling Wand. So the attack speed actually helped it out quite a lot. Generally what a lot of people do is actually run a damage card, and then an attack speed card. Okay, as you can see, there's not much difference between running these two first and the wing carver blade with the damage on it goes to 192, and this goes to 192. Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing, so either way is fine. There's not really too much else to talk about, because like I said, I can't really optimize every hero's attack speeds because it's A, relevant, and B, gonna take a shit ton of time, and I wanted to keep this video short. So hopefully you've heard something that made sense in there. Just keep in mind that you don't want to hit 0.4 second attack speed. Getting to sort of 0.5 to 0.6 is going to be fine for people like Wukong, Sparrow, and Yin. Everyone else, you're not going to want to hit anywhere near there. Like the 0.6s is fine, 0.6 to 0.7 is fine. But it is all up to you. So don't let anyone tell you that you know, a reasonable amount of attack speed is too much or too little, because it is relative to you. So keep that in mind. Yeah, that's probably going to be it for here. If I have forgotten anything, please list it in the comment section in the down there. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask. I know this is probably a little bit more technical than it had to be, and I probably dribbled shit. But that's what I do, that's what I'm here for, that's what I'm good at. So, with that said guys, if you enjoyed this video or you found it useful in any way, shape or form, please smash the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, subscribe for more Paragon content. With that said, thank you so much for watching, love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.